What's up guys, this is the Dragon King. If you do enjoy this video, like, comment down below and subscribe. Now let's begin this new video.
On the last episode, Miss Yan recounted the story of someone experiencing 3 reincarnations in a single day, despite being in a secular state. She tells the hero about the 3 reincarnations and the fact that he experienced his entire life in just one day. As the hero looked at the underground palace, the Yan family, including Miss Yan, is surprised to find the palace, which is the ancestral land of the Yan family. The old man, who is concerned about the palace being poisoned, instructs the hero to go first and see if the palace was safe. The hero is taken aback when the old man uses a water technique to intimidate him to see if the palace was safe. Miss Yan was attacked by a blazing arrow, which caused a massive explosion. Yan Shan and his disciples are filled with horror as they call out for Miss Yan. As the explosion continues, Miss Yan exclaims, "Crystal form." And she demonstrated her incredible power. Yan Sheng and Yan Ya are shocked by Miss Yan's fiery aura, shielding their eyes from the intense brightness of the flames. An elderly man and his disciples face an attack from Yan Sheng, who orders them to protect the underground palace. Yan Shan defends against the attack using his water technique. The disciples, including Yu Yi, are attacked by an unidentified individual, causing Yu Yi to cry out in pain. Yu Yi warns Yan Yao that their actions could result in the destruction of an important inheritance. Yan Hao, angry, unleashes a fire technique to defeat the hero. Yan Hao then rushes towards Yi Yu, possibly killing him while dousing his body with a fire aura. Now let's begin this new video. Miss Yan and Yan Hao searched all over the Palace of Inheritance for Yi Yu, but they were unable to locate him. Yi Yu was smirking because the hero, who was not a fool, suspected that there would be many traps in this underground palace, which is why he chose not to go first. The hero examined the ancestral inheritance, which was releasing a great deal of power, and wondered if it was the ancestral inheritance. His eyes twinkled with greed as he wondered if there was a nice treasure. Before Miss Yan could do anything, Yan Hao dashed to the ancestral inheritance, yelling that it was his. Miss Yan believed he would never give him the ancestral inheritance. She moved as quickly as Yan Hao in order to touch the ancestral inheritance. However, before they could touch it, a blue shield emerged, stopping them both and shoving them back. Miss Yan cursed and was thrown back into the wall, and Yan Hao was shocked to see a shield surrounding the ancestral inheritance. Miss Yan and Yan Hao's bodies collided with the wall. Yan Hao was on his knees, in excruciating pain. Miss Yan just coughed in pain. Looking at Miss Yan, Yi Yu asked her if she was okay and can move her body. The hero crossed his arms and declared, with a bored expression on his face, that he is now in command because both of them are down and weaker than before. The ancestral inheritance energy became more vibrant. Yi Yu wondered if the small tripod was the treasure, but he realized he couldn't touch it. He told Miss Yan that she robbed the tomb, and how this is her retribution. He said this with a weird smile. With a smile on his face, the protagonist approached a gem-encrusted wall. He decided to take them. He instructed himself not to be greedy. With a cheerful smile, he justified how great it is to be like him and free of desire, and he began to collect the majority of the diamonds on the floor. Miss Yan and Yan Hao both thought, "What a shameless bastard," at the same time. Yan Hao, who was still in pain, smirked and took out an elixir, promising them both that once he regained his power, they would both perish. He took the elixir in his mouth, sat down, and meditated, and a fire aura developed around him. Miss Yan told Yi Yu to kill Yan Hao before the elixir took effect, and she told him to do it now. With a bored expression on his face, Yi Yu asked her why he should listen to her. Miss Yan shouted at him not to waste time and informed him that Yan Hao would recover in 15 minutes. If he didn't do it, they would both die. "Wow," said Yi Yu, with hearts in his eyes and a twisted expression on his face. Miss Yan stepped back from the hero's stare and asked him if he was kidding right now, and she told him to look around them. The protagonist flushed somewhat and inquired what she would do for him if he assisted her. She then yelled angrily, asking him what he wanted. The hero, with the perverted face, envisioned himself and Miss Yan in the bath once more. He told her to kiss and sleep with him. He told her that if he enjoys foreplay, taking a bath with him would be a good idea. She reluctantly accepted, but only after he had killed Yan Hao. Yi Yu, attempting to appear strong, asked her if she thought he was a fool, and he asked her why he should believe her. Miss Yan gave him a sexy smile and told him seductively that she would do whatever he said. Yi Yu was confident now and assured her that he would murder him for her. She thought, not surprisingly, that's what males are. Yi Yu trembled as he picked up a blade and pointed at Yan Hao, cursing himself for not killing people. Miss Yan asked him whether he was terrified and if he had ever killed someone before, all with a bored expression on her face. The hero gave her the middle finger and said he wasn't afraid and had murdered more people than she had ever met, and he has a dreadful reputation, and he is the heinous murderer, and he told her she was insulting him because he was not afraid of murdering. Miss Yan's sweat dropped, and asked why he hadn't killed him yet. Yi Yu yelled back, ordering her not to push him, and he will do it right now. Yan Hao remained in a contemplative condition in the background. Yan Hao's aura turned gold. Miss Yan noticed this as she widened her eyes, knowing that if Yan Hao finished his cultivation, they were doomed. She yelled at the hero, saying that Yan Hao would be back on his feet soon and that they would all perish. The protagonist drew his sword and prepared to slay him, as the sword reached around his neck, but he stopped from killing him. Yi Yu gritted his teeth, terrified and anxious. The protagonist sighed and stated that he was not prepared to be a killer. At that moment, Yan Hao opened his eyes, and the hero cursed that he was awakened. Yan Hao laughed and stood up, slamming his hand on the ground. But he had no idea the sword was digging further into the side of his neck. His neck was sliced by the blade. Yan Hao leapt and yelled, as he asked him if he still want to kill him now? And Yan Hao informed him it was too late now, but Yi Yu didn't listen as he stared at his sword. Yan Hao yelled angrily that he was going to die today. Miss Yan and Yi Yu were both speechless. Yi Yu was sweating bullets as he gazed at his blood-splattered sword, and Yi Yu inquired about his neck. Yan Hao inquired as to what was wrong with his neck. As he curiously caressed his neck, he examined his blood on his hand and wondered, whose blood is this? Blood spurted from his neck, and his eyes widened in surprise. He cursed as well. And he collapsed and died. The hero just sweat dropped. The hero, perplexed, inquired if he had indeed slain him. Miss Yan agreed and informed him that he had killed him. He was shaken by the fact that he had slain him. He cried in terror, "Did I really kill him?" Miss Yan chuckled as she looked at him, while Yi Yu raced around, screaming that he had killed him. Miss Yan grinned and told him that the world of cultivation was brutal and cruel, and that he had to learn to accept it. The hero was enraged, telling her that it was easy for her to say that, and shouting that he had never killed a chicken before. At that point, a chicken appeared in front of him, bored, and asked him if it was his fault. Both of them noticed something happening to the tripod. The energy field around the tripod shone brightly, and she was silent, thinking about how Geomancer set this energy field. Meanwhile, the hero caught sight of something out of the corner of his eye. We delve into greater detail about what the protagonist discovered, and a physiologist can be separated into a geomancer and an astrologer. Geomancers have the ability to draw field energy from the soil, mountains, or rivers. Astrologers may harness the power of the sun, moon, and stars to modify fate. The explanation suggests that the first power is ancestral heritage, and the second power is whatever the hero discovered before. Anyway, returning to the topic, Miss Yan believed she was obligated to receive the ancestral inheritance. Miss Yan activated her crystal form, and a small crystal emerged on her forehead, and an aura encircled her entire body. Her fire aura grew stronger. And the hero was taken aback when he saw she had transformed again. Miss Yan took a position and prepared to strike. She told herself she had it. Before she could do anything, an explosion occurred around the tripod when she used her attack, and she was taken aback. Miss Yan was thrown forward by a minor shock wave. She screamed in pain. She landed hard on the ground, and there were still minor shock waves. She looked up, frustrated, and exclaimed, "This was left by an astrologer." Yi Yu inquired, concerned, if she was okay, and dashed towards her. He moved in closer to her. Meanwhile, the astrologer or the tripod was blazing brighter. And we can appreciate its beauty and design. Miss Yan yelled at him to stay where he was. He glanced at the astrologer in disbelief as it blasted him with a fire blast, and he was reincarnated 3 times. As a blue aura surrounded his body, the hero was startled that nothing occurred to him. And his body inadvertently absorbed the energy, which Miss Yan thought was impossible because she was stunned that the tripod accepted him. She looked at him, shocked he wasn't injured. Yiyu had a big smile on his face and had no idea what had happened. Suddenly, there was a little explosion, and something broke, and the ancestral inheritance, astrologer, was revealed. Miss Yan noticed the breakdown of the astrologer's energy field. She gazed at the hero, wondering if he had broken the astrologer's energy field. Then, the hero discovered that it had collapsed. And the energy spread around the room. His eyes gleamed in greed once again and questioned if there were any gold around. Miss Yan closed her eyes and ignored the thought, believing it to be impossible and supposing it was a delayed effect of her crystal form. She believed everything she said. I don't think so. She realized this once the astrologer opened. She was taken aback and wondered what this was. And a smaller tripod emerged from the other, and several tripods sprang from the larger one. Then they went into Miss Yan's body. Yiyu grinned as he realized Miss Yan, Yan Shungting, had inherited the ancestral inheritance. The protagonist returned his gaze to the golden ball. A golden scroll was hidden inside a box. With an eager smile, the protagonist reached for the scroll and inquired as to what weapon it was. The energy of the golden scroll became brighter, and lightning flashed around it, as small little waves erupted from it. As he approached with caution, and as he got closer to the scroll, it levitated and came closer to him, entering his forehead. And that golden glow was now in his forehead, and he cursed, wondering what had gone to his head. In pain, he touched his forehead. He smashed his fist on the floor and ordered the scroll to come out. He screamed for the scroll to be released. He collapsed as he inhaled heavily, and he questioned whether his brain was well. Meanwhile, Miss Yan was surrounded by a rainbow glow. The reason for this was that her spirit energy was converging. She was also absorbing spirit energy. The protagonist stared at her and recognized that this is how spirit energy is absorbed. He thought to himself. Miss Yan was floating in the air, gathering rainbow energy, before he could say anything else. She flew down after she finished receiving the energy. The hero inquired if she was finished with it. Yes, she said. She informed him that she had not discovered the celestial book in the tripod. She believed there was an error in the family record. With a smile, Yiyu questioned her about the Heaven Scroll. What is the Heaven Scroll? The hero inquired. She revealed that their ancestor received a golden scroll in his old age but never opened it till he died. She dismissed it as a rumor. The protagonist was taken aback when he learned he had just broken the field and had been welcomed by the celestial scroll. He wondered if it was even feasible. He thought to himself, with a brilliant smile on his face, that he was the legendary chosen one. A book smacked into his face before he could move, and the hero yelled, asking her what she was doing. Miss Yan was practicing with her new rainbow aura. Miss Yan was still meditating when she instructed him to take the book. She informed him that she was still severely injured and needed to rest. He should stay since she cannot save him if something goes wrong. Yiyu took a serious glance at the book, thinking that now he could apply the way of absorbing spirit energy that he had just acquired. Yiyu sat down, concentrated, and began to absorb spirit energy. Footsteps were heard a few minutes later, and all the disciples and the old man emerged as they all shouted Lady Shungting, and the old man asked whether Lady Shungting was okay.
If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe for more, and have a great day.